All right, this video is for any new SDRs looking to make the transition into an account executive role, or maybe you've recently made the transition. These are the four hardest parts about the move I believe you need to be aware of to hit the ground running. This is a move I made myself about 5 years ago. I've been in tech sales about 6 years. I've also coached dozens of reps who've made this move, and these are the four things you need to be aware of to make sure you're successful out of the gate. So let's get into it. First, I want to say it's an exciting move going from SDR to AE. It's what you've been working for this whole time. You get a lot more control over the sales cycle, a lot more responsibility, and even things like piping opportunities, things you used to claw and scratch for, you can now just do at the click of a button. It's actually kind of funny at first, but with it comes these new realities that I want to make sure you're aware of. So the first one is that in the AE role, there's no more instant gratification. And what I mean by that is in the SDR role, your KPIs are usually centered around the amount of meetings you set, the amount of those meetings that convert to qualified opportunities, and then the pipeline dollar value associated with those opportunities. But all of these KPIs can be instantaneous, and there's a very quick feedback loop, and you're rewarded very quickly. It could be Tuesday morning, 10 a.m., you have nothing going on, but you pick up the phone and book a meeting at 10:07, and you just got instantly rewarded. You know you just made yourself more money. You might not actually get paid until your monthly or quarterly bonus or commission check comes out, however that's structured, but in your head you got a quick dopamine hit. You know, I just made myself more money, I just booked a meeting. Or if you could hold a meeting that day and it converts to an op and boom, you're instantly rewarded. So in the AE role, I believe there's a big dopamine detox. That's what I experienced when I first got in there. I was used to getting quick hits. I knew when I was making myself more money, I just booked a few meetings that day, or we held a couple meetings that converted to opportunities. In B2B sales, depending on what you're selling, sales cycles can last many months. They can be 2 months on the short end, and if it's a really big enterprise deal, it can take 10 months plus, sometimes even years, depending how big it is. And in most AE roles, the one key metric you're concerned with is closed revenue. So everything up until that point, you're not getting rewarded for. There's no more pats on the back for things like meetings or finding qualified opportunities. You just got called up to varsity. You're a full-blown sales professional now. That's what's expected of you. So the small wins stop being celebrated, and you only get rewarded when a deal closes, which can take a lot longer. So you gotta mentally prepare for the shift and either become very okay with delayed gratification or institute a new reward system for yourself and celebrate the small wins along the way, even though your leadership might not be patting you on the back each time. So you gotta learn to put dollar values associated with things like what's an average meeting worth? What's an average meeting worth when I progress it past an initial discovery onto a demo? And learn to celebrate these small wins along the way because it takes time. And get to a place where deals are coming in more consistently and you get some of that instant gratification back, but it takes time to get there. So you just have to trust that the inputs will lead to the outputs and celebrate the inputs, things like meetings, qualified opportunities, progressing those qualified opportunities. This is probably the biggest shift of making the move from an SDR to an AE, at least it was for me, so I want to make sure you're aware of this. All right, the next reality about making this transition is that it's now entirely on you to build credibility with decision makers at your target accounts. And it's not just one decision maker, it's typically 3 to 5 or 5 to 8 depending on the size of the company, and most of them have VP titles or above, which means most of them are often 20 plus years into their career. And we're often young sales professionals in that 23 to 28 age bracket as a new account executive. And we're working with people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s. They've been doing this a while, and we're the ones telling them that they should be doing business differently. And it can be tough. Sometimes you get on calls and you're like their kids' age, and you still have to be able to build trust and build value and show that you understand their business, their challenges, their pain points, and explain how you've helped other similar people achieve the outcomes that they desire. So the key is to lead with value on these calls and teach them. You haven't earned the right to start asking questions most of the time. Things like, tell me about your role, which you should already know about their role. That's not a good question to start with. You more want to come in and align on the objective you're looking to achieve, the agenda on how you're going to get there and achieve that objective, and then align on what the next decision will be if you achieve that directive. Get that upfront contract on next steps. All right, the next important reality is that you now have full ownership over the sales cycles. No more can you just set these meetings, hop on the call, do your little introduction, and then pass it over to the account executive to run the call and the sales cycle from there. You get your op, you're all happy, and you don't have to worry about anything else. Those days are over. And I highly, highly suggest, if you are still an SDR and haven't made this transition yet, start running calls as an account executive. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You're not going to want to do it. I promise you, it will be the best thing you do. There's always those wishy-washy meetings where you set them, but you don't know if it's actually going to be a good call. You have a feeling it's probably not the right person. Ask the AE if you can run and practice on that call and have them give you feedback. Another thing you should be doing, especially if your account executive that you work with is good, start writing down how they structure their calls. How do they start off the call? How do they kick off the call? How do they get that upfront contract? What types of questions are they asking and what pain points are they digging for? Write all this stuff down so that you can use it yourself when you make this transition. So you're running calls, you're progressing the sales cycle, and you're quarterbacking the internal team throughout that sales cycle. At most companies, sales cycles don't typically just involve a sales rep. There's probably solutions engineers on your end that you're working with. There's partners, implementation partners that you might be working with. There could be a few. And you're responsible for managing all of these people who often have other sales cycles they're working on. So you have to demonstrate that you're someone who's worth them committing their time to. Because if they don't think you know what you're doing, they'll just put their time more towards other sales cycles. It's on you to be the quarterback for the entire team throughout the sales cycle. So it's here where a lot of reps hit a dead end and really struggle making that transition to AE, because as an SDR, maybe they were really good at prospecting. They were mostly just responsible for themselves, but now they're responsible for managing teams, which is an entirely new skill set. The last key reality, and it's related to what I was just talking about, is time management and how difficult time management becomes. As an SDR, you were largely responsible just for prospecting. Now as an AE, you still need to be prospecting. The best AEs consistently I see maintain that SDR prospecting attitude. They don't just wait for the business to come to them. They don't just wait for inbound leads or to get lucky or anything like that. So you got to find time to prospect, but you're now also responsible for the full sales cycle. You got to find time to manage all these internal teams. You have to do everything you can to push deals and qualify. And a lot of times it becomes disqualifying. The last thing you want to do is drag on a sales cycle and turn it into 5, 6, 7 meetings when it probably should have just been 1 or 2 because they weren't a good fit or they didn't have budget. You need to ask the tough questions up front and disqualify deals so that you can spend your time focused on actual high quality qualified deals where it's a good fit. And in the role, you're not really given a blueprint or a roadmap. You're given a general target, call it $1 million quota to hit for the year, and it's up to you to figure out how to structure your day and maximize your productivity. There's always something you could be doing. There's always an account you could be researching in your territory, preparing just a little bit more for a meeting, spending more time prospecting or improving your email templates. You have to figure out where your time is best served to help reach your objective, whatever it is, that quota they set out to you, and break it down week by week, day by day. So make sure you're aware of these 4 realities. Good luck with the transition if you're making it. Hope this video helped. If it did, hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next one.